soup and eaten the fish and chips and the English salad. The children have drunk English water. We've eaten well this evening. That's because we live in the suburbs of London and because our name is Smith.
Huh.
Potatoes are very good fried, in fact. The salad oil was not rancid. The oil from the grocer at the corner is better quality than the oil from the grocer at the bottom of the street. However, I prefer not to tell them that their oil is bad.
Huh.
However, the oil from the grocer at the corner is still the best.
Huh.
Mary did the potatoes very well this evening. The last time she did not do them well. I do not like them when they are well done.
Huh.
Fish was fresh. It made my mouth water. I had 2 helpings. No, 3 helpings. That made me go to the water closet. You also had 3 helpings. However, the 3rd time you took less than the first 2 times was for me. I took a great deal more. I ate better than you this evening. Why is that? Usually it is you who eats more. It is not appetite you lack. But still, the soup was perhaps a little too salty. It was saltier than you. It also had too many leaves and not enough onions. I regret I didn't advise Mary to add some aniseed stars. The next time I will know better.
Huh.
Our little boy wanted to drink some beer. He's going to love getting tiddly. He's like you. At the table, did you notice how he stared at the bottle? But I poured some water from the jug into his glass. He was thirsty and he drank it. Helen is like me. She's a good manager, thrifty, plays the piano. And she never asks to drink English beer. She's like our little daughter who drinks only milk and eats only porridge. It's obvious she's only 2. She's named Peggy. The Quintaine bean pie was marvellous. Would have been nice, perhaps, to have had a small glass of Australian Burgundy with the sweet, but I did not bring the bottle to the table because I did not wish to set the children a bad example of gluttony. They must learn to be sober and temperate. Mrs. Parker knows a Romanian grocer by the name of Popescu Rosenfeld who has just come from Constantinople. He is a great specialist in yogurt. He has a diploma from the School of Yogurt Making in Adrianople. Tomorrow I shall buy a large pot of native Romanian yogurt from him. One doesn't often find such things here in the suburbs of London. Yogurt is excellent for the stomach, the kidneys, the appendicitis, and apotheosis. It was Dr. Mackenzie King who told me that. He's the one who takes care of the children of our neighbours, the Johns. He's a good doctor. One can trust him. He never prescribes any medication that he's not tried out on himself first. Before operating on Parker, he had his own liver operated on first, although he was not the least bit ill.
But how does it happen the doctor pulled through while Parker died?
Because the operation was successful in the doctor's case and it wasn't in Parker's.
Then Mackenzie is not a good doctor. The operation should have succeeded in both cases, or else both should have died.
Why?
A conscientious doctor must die with his patient if they can't get well together. The captain of a ship goes down with the ship into the briny deep if he does not survive alone.
You cannot compare a patient with a ship.
Then why not? A ship has its diseases too. Moreover, your doctor is as hale as a ship. That's why he should have perished at the same time as his patient, like the captain and his ship.
I hadn't thought of that. Perhaps it is true. And then what conclusion do you draw from this?
All doctors are quacks. And all patients too. Only the Royal Navy is honest in England.
But not sailors.
Naturally. Here's something I don't understand. In the newspaper, they always give the age of deceased persons, but never the age of the newly born. That doesn't make sense.
I never thought of that.
says here that Bobby Watson died.
My God, the poor man. When did he die?
Why do you pretend to be astonished? You know very well he's been dead these past 2 years. Surely you remember we attended his funeral a year and a half ago.
Oh, yes, of course I do remember. I remembered it right away. But I don't understand why you yourself were so surprised to see it in the paper.
It wasn't in the paper. It's been 3 years since his death was announced. I remembered it through an association of ideas.
What a pity. He was so well preserved.
He was the handsomest corpse in Great Britain. Poor Bobby had been dead for 4 years and was still warm. A veritable living corpse. How cheerful he was.
Poor Bobby.
Which poor Bobby do you mean?
Oh, it was his wife that I mean. She is called Bobby too, Bobby Watson. Since they both had the same name, you could never tell one from the other when they were together. It was only after his death that you could really tell which was which. And there are still people today who confuse her with the deceased and offer their condolences to him. Do you know her?
I met her once by chance at Bobby's burial.
I've never seen her. Is she pretty?
She has regular features, but still one cannot say that she's pretty. She's a little too big and stout. Her features are not are regular, but still one can say that she's very pretty. She's a little too small and thin. She's a voice teacher.
And, when do they plan to be married, those two?
Next spring at the latest.
We shall have to go to their wedding, I suppose.
We should get them a wedding present. I wonder what.
Why don't we give them one of the 7 silver salvers that were given us for our wedding, and which have never been of any use to us? Oh, how sad for her to be left a widow so young.
Yeah, fortunately they had no children.
That was all they needed, children. Poor woman, how could she have managed?
She's still young. She may well remarry. She looks so well in the morning.
But who would take care of the children? You know very well they have a boy and a girl. What are their names?
Bobby and Bobby, like their parents. Bobby Watson's uncle, old Bobby Watson, is a rich man, very fond of the boy. He may well pay for Bobby's education.
That would be proper. And Bobby Watson's aunt, old Bobby Watson, might very well in her turn pay for the education of Bobby Watson, Bobby Watson's daughter. That way Bobby Watson's mother, could remarry. Has she anyone in mind?
Yes, a cousin of Bobby Watson's.
Who? Bobby Watson?
Which Bobby Watson do you mean?
Like Bobby Watson, the son of old Bobby Watson, the late Bobby Watson's other uncle.
No, it's not him, it's someone else. It's Bobby Watson, the son of old Bobby Watson, the late Bobby Watson's aunt.
Are you referring to Bobby Watson, the commercial traveller?
All Bobby Watsons are commercial travellers.
What a difficult trade. However, they do well at it.
Yes, when there's no competition.
And when is there no competition?
On Tuesdays. Thursdays and Tuesdays.
Oh, 3 days a week. And what does Bobby Watson do on those days?
He rests. He sleeps.
But why doesn't he work those 3 days if there's no competition?
I don't know everything! I can't answer all your idiot questions!
Oh, you're trying to humiliate me.
You know very well that I'm not.
You men are all alike. Sit there all day long with a cigarette in your mouth, or you powder your nose and rouge your lips 50 times a day, or else you drink like a fish.
And what would you say if you saw men acting like women do? Smoking all day, powdering, rouging their lips, drinking whiskey.
Well, that's nothing to me. But if you're only saying that to annoy me, I don't care, but I'm kind of joking, you know that very well.
Oh, my little ducky daddles. What a spitfire you are. You know very well I was only joking. What a ridiculous pair of old lovers we are. Let's put out the lights and go bye-byes.
afternoon. I've been to the cinema with a man, and I've seen a film with some women. After the cinema, we went to drink some brandy and milk. And then, read the newspaper.
I hope that you've spent a pleasant afternoon, that you went to the cinema with a man, and that you drank some brandy and milk.
And the newspaper.
Mr. and Mrs. Martin, your guests are at the door. They were waiting for me. They didn't dare come in by themselves. They were supposed to have dinner with you this evening.
Oh, yes, of course. We were expecting them. And we were hungry. Since they didn't put in an appearance, we were going to start dinner without them. We've had nothing to eat all day. You should not have gone out.
But it was you who gave me permission.
We didn't do it on purpose.
I bought me a chamber pot.
My dear Mary, please open the door and ask Mr. and Mrs. Martin to step in. We will change quickly.
Why have you come so late? You are not very polite. People should be punctual. Do you understand? Oh, well. Sit down here and wait anyway, now that you're here.
Excuse me, madam, but it seems to me, unless I'm mistaken, that I've met you somewhere before.
I too, miss. It seems as though I've met you somewhere before.
Was it by any chance at Manchester that I caught a glimpse of you, madam?
It's certainly possible. I'm originally from the city of Manchester, but I do not have a very good memory, miss. I can't say whether it was the city of Manchester that I saw you or not.
Oh, God, that's curious. I, too, am originally from the city of Manchester, madam.
That is curious.
Isn't that curious? Only I, madam, left the city of Manchester about 5 weeks ago.
That is curious. What a bizarre coincidence. I, too, left the city of Manchester 5 weeks ago. But I do not remember very well. I cannot say whether I saw you there or not.
Madam, I took the 8:30 morning train which arrives in London at 4:45.
That is curious. How very bizarre and what a coincidence. I took the same train. I too, miss.
Oh, Lord, how curious. Perhaps then, madam, it was on the train that I saw you.
Well, that is certainly possible. It is plausible after all, and after all, why not? But I do not recall it, miss.
I travelled second class, madam. There is no second class in England, but I always travel second class.
That is curious. How very bizarre, and what a coincidence. I too travelled second class, miss.
How curious that is. Perhaps we did meet in second class, my dear lady.
Well, that is indeed possible, but I'm afraid I do not remember it.
My seat was in coach number 8, compartment 6, my dear lady.
That is curious. My seat was also in coach number 8, compartment 6.
How curious that is. What a bizarre coincidence. Perhaps we met in compartment 6, my dear lady.
Oh, that is certainly possible, but I do not remember it very well, my dear.
To tell you the truth, my dear lady, I do not remember it either. But it is possible we caught a glimpse of each other there, and as I think of it, it seems to me even very likely.
Of course, truly, miss, truly.
How curious it is. I had seat number 3 next to the window, my dear lady.
That is curious. I had seat number 3 next to the window and across from you, my dear.
Good God, that's curious. And what a coincidence. We were then seated, facing each other, my dear lady, and it is there we must have seen each other.
That is curious. What a coincidence. But I do not believe
my dear lady. I do not remember it either. However, it is very possible we saw each other on that occasion.
It is true, but I am not at all sure of it.
Dear madam, were you not the lady who asked me to place her suitcase on the luggage rack, who then thanked me and gave me permission to smoke?
But of course, that must have been I. How curious it is, and what a coincidence.
How curious, how bizarre and a coincidence. And well, it was perhaps at that moment that we came to know each other, madam.
Well, that is curious, how bizarre, and what a coincidence. But I do not believe that I remember it, miss.
Nor do I, madam. Since coming to London, I have resided in Bromfield Street, my dear lady.
Oh, that is curious. What a bizarre coincidence. Since coming to London, I too have resided in Bromfield Street.
How curious that is. Well then, perhaps we've seen each other in Bromfield Street, my dear lady.
Good Lord, that is curious, but I do not recall it, my dear.
I reside at number 19, my dear lady.
That is curious. Good Lord, I too reside at number 19.
Well then. Perhaps we've seen each other in that house, dear lady.
Oh, it is indeed possible, but I do not remember it, my dear.
My flat is on the 5th floor, number 8, my dear lady.
That is curious. I too reside on the 5th floor in flat number 8.
How curious that is! How curious that is! How curious that is! What a coincidence! You know, in my bedroom there is a bed. It is covered with a green eiderdown. This room with the bed and the green eiderdown is at the end of the corridor between the water closet and the bookcase, dear lady.
Good Lord, how curious! My bedroom too has a bed, and it is covered by a green eiderdown. This bed with the eiderdown is at the end of the corridor between the water closet and the bookcase.
How bizarre! Curious, strange! Then, dear madam, we live in the same room and we sleep in the same bed, dear lady. Yeah, we've met.
Well, that is certainly possible that we've met there, and perhaps even last night. But I do not recall it.
I have a little girl. My little daughter, she lives with me, dear lady. She's 2 years old. She's blonde. She has a white eye and a red eye. She's very pretty. Her name is Alice, dear lady.
Good Lord, what a coincidence! I too have a little girl. She's 2 years old. She has one red eye and one white eye. She's very pretty. And her name is Alice too.
How curious that is. What a coincidence and how bizarre. Perhaps they are the same.
Certainly possible, but I'm not at all sure of it.
Then, dear lady, I believe there can be no doubt about it. We have seen each other before, and you are my own wife. Elizabeth, I found you again.
Donald, it's you, darling.
Elizabeth and Dawn are now too happy to be able to hear me. I can therefore let you in on a secret. Elizabeth is not Elizabeth. Don is not Don. And here's the proof. The child Don spoke of earlier is not Elizabeth's daughter. They are not the same person. Elizabeth's daughter has a white eye and a red eye, like Don's, whereas Don's daughter has a white right eye and a red left eye. Elizabeth has a red right eye and a white left eye. Thus, all of Don's theory of deduction collapses when it comes against this final obstacle, which destroys her whole theory. In spite of the extraordinary coincidences which seem to be definitive proof, Elizabeth and Don, not being the parents of the same child, are not Elizabeth and Don. It is in vain that she thinks she is Don. It is in vain that she thinks she is Elizabeth. She believes in vain that she is Don, and she believes in vain that she is Elizabeth. They are both deceived. But who is the real Don? And who is the real Elizabeth? And who has any interest in prolonging this confusion any further? I don't know. Oh, let's not try to know. Let's leave things as they are. My real name is Sherlock Holmes.
Darling, let us forget all that has not passed between us. And now that we have found each other again, let's try not to lose each other anymore and live as we did before.
Yes, darling.
Good evening, dear friends. Please forgive us for having made you wait so long. We thought we should extend you the courtesy to which you are entitled, and as soon as we learned that you had been kind enough to give us the pleasure of coming to see us without prior notice, we hurried to dress for the occasion.
We've had nothing to eat all day, and we've been waiting 4 whole hours for you. Why have you come so late?
Oh, definitely.
Sherlock Holmes.
Nevertheless, it's not chilly.
There's no draft.
No, fortunately.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Don't you feel well?
No, he's wet his pants.
Sir, at your age you shouldn't.
The heart is ageless.
That's true.
So they say.
They also say the opposite.
The truth lies somewhere between the two.
That's true.
Since you travel so much, you must have many interesting things to tell us.
My dear, tell us what you've seen today.
Oh, it's scarcely worth the trouble, for no one would believe me.
We're not going to question your
Oh,
sincerity.
you'll offend us if you think that.
You'll offend them, my dear, if you think that.
Well, today, I witnessed something really incredible. Something extraordinary.
Tell us quickly, my dear.
This is going to be amusing.
Well, today when I was out to buy vegetables, which are getting to be dearer and dearer.
It's all going to end.
Don't interrupt, Matthew. It's very rude.
There, in the street, near a cafe, I saw a man, properly badly dressed, perhaps 50 or so, or not even that, who...
Who what?
Oh, who what?
Don't interrupt, my dear. You're disgusting.
My dear, it was you who interrupted first, you bore.
Hush.
I'm sure that you'll say that I'm making it all up, but he was down on one knee, and he was bent over.
Oh!
Yes, bent over.
Not possible.
Yes, bent over. I went near him to see what he was doing.
And?
He was tying his shoelace, which had come undone.
If someone else had told me this, I'd not believe them.
Why not? One sees things even more extraordinary every day when one walks around. For instance, today in the underground, I myself saw a man sitting in a seat, reading a newspaper.
Oh, what a character!
Perhaps it was the same man. Goodness! Someone is ringing.
There must be somebody there. I'll go and see. Nobody.
I'm going to give you another example.
Goodness! Someone is ringing.
There must be somebody there. I'll go and see. No one.
You were going to give us another example.
Oh, yes.
Goodness! Someone is ringing.
I'm not going to open the door again.
Yes, but there must be somebody there.
The first time, there was no one. The second time, no one. Why do you think that there is someone there now?
Because someone is wrong.
That's no reason.
What? When one hears the doorbell ring, that's because someone is at the door, waiting to have the door open.
Well, not always. You've just seen otherwise.
In most cases, yes.
As for me, when I go to visit someone, I ring in order to be admitted. I think everyone does the same thing, and that each time the doorbell rings, it is because there is somebody there.
That is true in theory, but in reality things happen differently. You've just seen otherwise.
Your wife is right.
Oh, you women, you always stand up for each other.
Then I go and see. You can't say that I'm obstinate, but you will see that there's no one there. You see? There's no one there. These men who always think they're right and who are always wrong.
Goodness! Someone is ringing. There must be somebody there.
Don't send me to open the door again. You've seen that it was useless. Experience teaches us that when one hears the doorbell ring, it is because there is never anyone there.
Never.
It's not entirely accurate.
In fact, it's false. When one hears the doorbell ring, it is because there is somebody there.
He won't admit he's wrong.
My spouse is very obstinate too.
There's someone there.
It's not impossible.
No.
Yes.
I tell you, no. In any case, you're not going to disturb me again for nothing. If you wish to know, go and look yourself.
I'll go. Oh, how do you do? It's the fire chief.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, Mrs. Smith. You appear to be angry.
You see, it's because my wife is a little chagrined at having been proved wrong.
There's been an argument between Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Mr. Fire Chief.
This is
knew his father. He asked me to give him my daughter in marriage if I ever had one, and he died waiting.
It's neither his fault nor yours.
Well, what is it all about?
My husband was claiming.
No, it was you who was claiming.
Yes, it was she.
No, it was he.
Don't get excited! You tell me, Mrs. Smith.
Well, this is how it was. It is difficult for me to speak openly to you, but the fireman is also a confessor.
Well done.
We were arguing because my husband said that each time the doorbell rings, there is always someone there.
It is plausible.
And I was saying that each time the doorbell rings, there is never anyone there.
It might seem strange.
But it has been proved, not by theoretical demonstrations, but by facts.
That's false, since the fire chief is here. He rang the bell, I opened the door, and there he was.
When? Just now.
Yes. But it was only after you heard the doorbell ring for the 4th time that there was someone there. And the 4th time does not count.
Never. It is only the first 3 times that count.
Mr. Fire Chief, permit me in my turn to ask you several questions.
Go right ahead.
When I opened the door and saw you, was it you who had rung the bell?
Yes, it was I.
You were at the door, and you rang in order to be admitted.
I do not deny it.
You see, I was right. When one hears the doorbell ring, it is because that there is someone there. You certainly cannot say that the fire chief is not someone.
Certainly not. I repeat to you that I was speaking of only the first 3 times, since the 4th time does not count.
Well, when the doorbell rang that first time, was it you?
No, it was not I.
You see, the doorbell rang, and there was no one there.
Perhaps it was someone else.
Were you standing at the door for a long time?
Three-quarters of an hour.
And you saw no one?
No one, I am sure of that.
Well, when the bell rang the second time, did you hear it then?
Yes, and that wasn't I either. There was still no one there.
Victory! I was right.
Not so fast. What were you doing at the door?
Nothing. I was just standing there. I was thinking of many things.
The 3rd time, it was not you that rang.
Yes, it was I.
But when the door was opened, nobody was in sight.
That's because I had hidden myself as a joke.
Don't make jokes, Mr. Fire Chief. This business is too sad.
In short, we still don't know whether when the doorbell rings there's someone there or not.
Never anyone.
Always someone.
I am going to reconcile you. You both are partly right. Sometimes when the doorbell rings, there is no one there. Other times, there is someone.
It seems logical to me. I think so too.
Life is very simple, really. Now go on and kiss each other.
We just kissed each other a little while ago.
They'll kiss each other tomorrow. They have plenty of time.
Mr. Fire Chief, since you have helped us settle this, make yourself comfortable. Take off your helmet and sit down for a moment.
Thanks. I should like to comment, but I haven't much time. I should like to take off my helmet, but I haven't time to sit down. I must admit, I am here for another reason. I am on official business.
Oh, and what can we do for you, Mr. Fire Chief?
Pardon my indiscretion, but you don't mind in front of them?
You can say whatever you like.
They're our friends. They tell us everything.
Speak.
Pardon me, but is there a fire here? extinguish all the fires in the city.
All?
Yes, all.
I don't know. I don't think so. Do you want me to go and look?
There can't be one here. There's no smell of anything burning.
Nothing at all. Nothing burning in the chimney. A fire in the attic or the cellar, perhaps. A little fire just starting, perhaps.
Oh, I am sorry to disappoint you, but I do not believe there's anything here at the moment. I promise that I will notify you when we do have something.
Please don't forget. It would be a great help.
That's a promise.
Nothing burning at your house either?
No, unfortunately. Things aren't going well just now.
Oh, very poorly. There's been almost nothing. A few trifles. A chimney, a barn. Nothing important. It doesn't bring in much. And because there are no returns, the profits on output are very meager.
Times are bad. That's true all over. It's the same with business and agriculture as it is with fires. Nothing's prospering.
No wheat, no fires.
No floods either.
But there is some sugar.
That's because it's imported.
It's harder in the case of fires. The tariffs are too high.
All the same, there is the occasional asphyxiation by gas, but that's unusual too. Just last week, a young lady had asphyxiated herself. She had left the gas on.
Oh, had she forgotten it?
No. She thought it was her comb.
These confusions are always dangerous.
Did you go to see the match dealer?
There's nothing doing there. He is insured against fires.
Why don't you go see the vicar of Wakefield and use my name?
Oh, I don't have the right to extinguish clergymen's fires. The bishops would get angry. Besides, they usually extinguish them themselves or have them put out by Vestal virgins.
Go and see the Durans.
Oh, that's no good either. They're not English. They've only been naturalized. And naturalized citizens do have the right to have a home, but not the right to have it put out if it is burning.
Nevertheless, when they set fire to it last, it was put out just the same.
Oh, it was he who put it out himself, clandestinely, but it is not I who would report him.
Neither would I.
Mr. Fire Chief, since you are not too pressed, stay a little while longer. You would be doing us a favour.
Shall I tell you some stories?
Oh, by all means. How charming of you.
Oh, yes!
Stories!
But what's even more interesting is that firemen's stories are always true and from experience.
I speak from my own experience. Truth, nothing but the truth. No fiction.
That's right. Truth is never found in books, only in life.
Begin!
Begin!
Be quiet. He's beginning.
Excuse me, don't look at me that way, you embarrass me. You know that I am shy.
Isn't he charming?
All right, I'll try to begin anyhow, but you have to promise not to listen.
But if we don't listen to you, we won't hear you.
I never thought of that.
He's just a boy.
Oh,
The sweet child.
Chin up.
Well then. The Dog and the Cow, an experimental fable. Once upon a time, another cow asked another dog, "Why have you not swallowed your trunk?" "Pardon me," said the dog, "it's because I thought I was an elephant."
What's the moral?
That is for you to find out.
He's right.
Tell us another.
much ground glass. As a result, it was obliged to give birth and brought into the world a young cow. However, because the calf was male, the cow could not call him Mama, nor could it call him Papa because the calf was too little. As a result, the calf was obliged to get married, and the office of the registry carried out all of the details completely a la mode.
A la mode camp.
Like tropes.
Oh, you've heard that one.
It was in all the papers.
It happened near our house.
I'll tell you another one. The cock. Once upon a time, the cock wished to play the dog, but he had no luck because everyone recognized him right away.
On the other hand, the dog that wished to play the cock was never recognized.
It's interesting.
It's not bad.
It's terrible.
But it wasn't even true.
No, unfortunately.
My wife has always been romantic.
She's a true English woman. Oh, charming.
You have a wife, Mr. Smith, of whom all the world is jealous.
It's true. My wife is intelligence personified. She's even more intelligent than I. In any case, she's much more feminine. Everyone says so.
Let's have another, Mr. Fire Chief.
Oh, no. It's much too late.
Tell us one anyway.
I'm too tired.
Please do us the favor.
I beg you.
No.
You have a heart of ice, for you're sitting on hot coals.
I implore you.
Righto.
He's going to bore us again. Shh.
No luck, I was too polite.
The head My brother-in-law had on the paternal side a first cousin, whose maternal uncle had a father-in-law, whose paternal grandfather had married as his second wife a young native woman, and whose brother he had met on one of his travels, a girl who was quite enamored, and who had a son who had married an intrepid lady pharmacist, the wife of the officer of an unknown fourth-class petty officer of the Royal Navy, and whose adopted father had an aunt who spoke Spanish fluently and who was perhaps one of the granddaughters of an engineer who died young himself, the grandson of the owner of a vineyard which produced mediocre wine, but who had a second cousin, a stay-at-home, a sergeant major, whose son had married a very pretty young woman, a divorcee, whose first husband was the son of a loyal patriot, who, in the hope of making his fortune, had managed to bring up one of his daughters so that she could know a man who had married Rothschild, and whose brother, after having changed his trade several times, married and had a daughter whose stunted great-grandfather wore spectacles that were given to him by a cousin of his, the brother-in-law of a man from Portugal, a natural son of a miller not too badly off, whose foster brother had married the daughter of a former country doctor, who was himself the foster brother of a forester, himself the natural son of another country doctor, married 3 times in a row, whose third wife...
I knew that third wife, if I'm not mistaken. She ate chicken sitting on a hornet's nest.
Oh, it's not the same one. As I was saying, whose third wife was the daughter of the best midwife in the region, and who early left a widow.
Like my wife.
Had married a glazier who was full of life, and who had by the daughter of a station master a child who had burned his bridges.
His bridges? No, his bridge game.
And who had married an oyster woman whose father had a brother mayor of a small town, who had taken as his wife a blonde schoolteacher whose cousin, a fly fisherman,
Fly by night.
had married another blonde schoolteacher named Marie, too, whose brother was married to another Marie, also a blonde schoolteacher.
Since she was blonde, she had to be a Marie.
And whose father had been reared in Canada by an old woman who was the niece of a priest, whose grandmother, occasionally in the winter, like everyone else, caught a cold.
A curious story, almost unbelievable.
You catch a cold, you've got to get yourself a coat.
It's a useless precaution, but absolutely necessary.
Mr. Fire Chief, I did not follow your story very well. When you got to the part about the grandmother of the priest, I got mixed up.
One always gets mixed up in the hands of a priest.
Yes, Mr. Firechief, begin again. Everyone wants to hear.
Oh, I don't know if I'll be able to. I'm on official business. It all depends on the time.
We don't have the time here.
But the clock?
It runs poorly. It's contradictory. It always indicates the opposite of what the hour really is.
Madam, sir,
What do you want?
What have you come in here for?
I hope madam and sir will forgive me and these ladies and gentlemen too. I would like to tell you a story myself.
What is she saying?
I believe our friend's maid is going crazy. She wants to tell us a story too.
Who does she think she is? Oh!
Why are you butting in?
This is quite uncalled for, Mary.
Oh! But it is she! Incredible! And you?
Incredible here! What does all this mean?
Do you know each other?
And how?
I am so glad to see you again. At last. Oh!
This is too much. Here, in our home, in the suburbs of London.
It's not proper.
Oh, it is she who extinguished my first fires.
I'm your little fire hose.
If that is the case, dear friends, these emotions are understandable, human, honorable.
All that is human is honorable.
Even so, I don't like to see it here among us.
She's not been properly brought up.
Oh, you have too many prejudices.
Well, what I think, even though it's none of my business, what I think is that a maid is only ever just a maid.
Even if she can sometimes be a rather good detective.
Oh, let me go.
Oh, don't be upset. They're not so bad, really.
You two are very touching. But at the same time, a little too.
Yes, that's exactly the word.
A little too exhibitionistic.
There is a native British modesty. Forgive me for attempting yet again to define my thought. Not understood by foreigners, not even by specialists, thanks to which, if I may thus express myself, of course I don't need to refer to you.
I was going to tell you.
Don't tell us anything.
Oh, yes! Go, my little Mary, go quietly into the kitchen and read your poems before the mirror.
You know, even though I'm not a maid, I also read poems before the mirror.
You looked in the mirror this morning, you didn't see yourself.
It's because I wasn't there yet.
All the same, I could recite a little poem for you.
My little Mary, you are frightfully obstinate.
I'm going to recite a poem then. Is that agreed? It is a poem entitled The Fire, in honor of the fire chief. The fire. The polypoids were burning in the wood. A stone caught fire. The castle caught fire. The forest caught fire. The men caught fire. The women caught fire. The birds caught fire. The fish caught fire. The water caught fire. The sky caught fire. The smoke caught fire. The ashes caught fire. The fire caught fire. Everything caught fire.
That sent chills up my spine.
And yet there was a certain warmth to those lines.
Ha! I thought it was marvelous.
All the same.
You're exaggerating.
Just a minute. I must admit, this is all very subjective, but this is my conception of the world, my dream, my ideal. And this reminds me that I must be going. Since you don't have the time here, I must tell you that I will be having a fire in exactly 3/4 of an hour and 16 minutes on the other end of the city. Consequently, I must hurry, even though it will be quite unimportant.
What will it be? A little chimney fire?
Well, not even that. A straw fire and a little heartburn.
Well, we're sorry to see you go.
We've been very entertaining.
Thanks to you, we've passed a truly Cartesian 1/4 of an hour.
Speaking of that, the bald soprano.
She always wears her hair in the same style.
Ah, well, good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Good luck and good fire.
Let's hope so. For all of us.
You can buy a pocket watch for your brother-in-law, but you can't buy Ireland for your grandfather.
One walks on his feet, but one heats with electricity or coal.
He who sells an ox today will have an egg tomorrow.
In real life, one must look out of the window.
The ceiling is above, the floor below.
When I say yes, it's only a manner of speaking.
To each his own.
Take a circle, caress it, and it will turn vicious.
A schoolmaster teaches his pupils to read, but the cat suckles her young when they're small.
Nevertheless, it was the cow that gave us tails.
When I go to the country, I like the solitude and the quiet.
You're not old enough for that yet. What are the 7 days of the week?
Oh, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
I prefer a bird in a bush to a sparrow in a barrow.
An Englishman's home is truly his castle.
I don't know enough Spanish to make myself understood.
I'll give you my mother-in-law's slippers if you give me your husband's coffin.
My uncle lives in the country, but that's none of the midwife's business.
Paper is for writing, the cat's for the rat, cheese is for scratching.
The car goes very fast, but the cook beats batter better.
Don't be turkeys, rather kiss the conspirator.
Charity begins at home.
To hell with polishing!
One doesn't polish spectacles with black wax.
Yes, but with money, one can buy anything.
I'd rather shoot a rabbit than go sing in the garden.
Cockatoos, cockatoos, cockatoos.
Dogs have fleas.
Cactus, cockroach, crocus.
I'd rather lay an egg in a box than go and steal an ox.
Let's go and slap Ulysses.
I'm going to live in my cabana among my cocoa trees.
Cocoa trees on cocoa farms don't bear coconuts. They bear cocoa.
Mice have lice. Lice haven't lice.
Groom the goose. Don't goose the groom.
Seducer. Seduced.
Scaramouche.
Go take a douche.
I've been goosed.
Robert.
Browning.
Rudyard
Kipling.
Robert Kipling.
Rudyard Browning.
Silly gobble gobblers. Silly gobble gobblers.
Marietta Spot the Pot.
The Pope elopes. The horoscope's bespoke.
Bizarre bazooka.
Bizarre braziers. A-E-I-O-U.
B, C, D, F, G.
It's
Not
That way.
It's
over.
Here.
It's not that way, it's over here. It's not that way, it's over here. It's not that way, it's over here. It's not that way, it's over here. There. It's 9 o'clock. We've drunk the soup and eaten the fish and chips and the English salad. The children have drunk English water. We've eaten well this evening. That's because we live in the suburbs of London and because our name is Martin.